I'm going to absolutely slap you. And do you know why? Hello.
Huh?
I'm going to slap you.
Because you was trying to be my twin and wear my shirt.
Yeah. We both come on the podcast today and we're both wearing the same daggone shirt.
That's funny.
And everybody listening, that was not on purpose.
No, it was not. We both have our domain established 2019 shirts on.
Yeah. So welcome to the podcast, guys.
Welcome
This is
in. Welcome
yeah.
in.
This is number 27.
Hmm.
I don't have a killing hat like Chris does.
Yes, I
Because
do.
that's the domain green killing hat.
Yes, yes.
I do not have that. So I'm upset. Um, we got a few things we're going to talk about today, and Chris is going to bring up the PA license tobacco
Yeah.
situation,
Hmm.
and we're going to briefly discuss that. We're going to jump into some food plot seed, and then finish it up with some trail camera information.
Yeah, for
So, Chris,
sure.
why don't you're a PA resident. I'm
Yeah.
a non-resident. Hunt your own state,
Hunt your own state, Dave.
and I know the license became on sale, I guess, what was it, Monday? And all I saw over Facebook was all the PA residents crying about the new system. So tell us, I guess, what changed and what they did.
Okay. In Pennsylvania, in the past, we had the pink envelope that you would have to send in to get a doe tag. So they have eliminated that. And this year, the sales opened up on Monday here, to be able to get your tags. Well, this year, concurrently, you could get your tag, which includes, anything you wanted, your general license, um, including you could purchase separately your archery, muzzleloader, bear, your waterfowl, your whatever you wanted to purchase. But this year you could purchase a doe tag at the same time as your general tag. So
So nothing changed except the doe tags.
basically, with the exception of they were asking people to go ahead and do it online. Now, me myself, I'm not a techie type person. I do not like doing things over the internet. And there's plenty enough stores around me that I can walk right in and purchase a license over the counter, which was perfectly fine and able to do. And at 8 a.m. is when they opened this up to everybody. So everybody thought that it was going to be a great idea to, at 8 a.m., get online, and they thought they was going to fill out their information and hit send, and boom, it was going to be there. Well, lo and behold, the system was overloaded, as if everything else happens like that
Hmm.
with the game commission. I mean, it overloads the website. And I actually heard of people getting in line at stores and waiting, like aisles and aisles, you know, up and back, switchbacks in line and waiting for hours. And then when they opened it up online, it was telling people you're in uh, you're in line. I guess is the word, the verbiage that they used. You're this number and you're in line, and there's this many people in front of you. And
Hmm.
people were like 19,000 people behind someone, you know. So when they opened this up at 8 a.m., there was thousands of people that flooded it, and people waited 8, 9, 10 hours to get their license, which was silly because I went and worked a 10-hour shift and got out of work at 2 p.m. and drove 2 miles down the road to my local archery shop and walked right in. Nobody was there but myself. I was able to get my license in 5 minutes.
Hmm.
And when
That's
I came
crazy.
home, yeah, it was really stupid. I came home and checked my phone, and I was reading all this stuff, and I'm like, "Are you freaking kidding me? These people waited online for hours to get their license. They was in line. They were in virtual line.
Hmm.
You know,
That's
and
crazy.
yeah, and it was just silly. And like you now." you have to wait till July 11th as a non-resident to apply for PA license. And then it'll work the same as past years, where there will be a date that you could. There's rounds,
Mm-hmm.
so in a couple of weeks after non-residents get their crack, they'll open it back up to residents, and at that point, there will be a second round, and then a third round, and then a fourth round, and so on. Just like other years past. Um, what else was I going to tell you? How did that go?
You forgot.
So yeah, I did. So there's rounds. Um,
Old age.
oh, the D maps.
Mm.
The people always used to flood the internet online and get the D maps,
Mm-hmm.
and they were available before doe tags were in the past. They are not allowed to get on and get DMAP tags till August 14th.
So they'll probably be all sold out.
Well, some of the stuff could be sold out. So yeah, it's proving to not be such a worthy thing to wait in line virtually and sit there. I
See,
mean,
that's
like if you waited to do that, you would have had to skip work or something,
right.
to not lose your spot in line.
That's crazy. Setup. I mean, because Maryland, like here in Maryland, you just go buy your license, and you can do it online or you can do it in the store.
Mhm.
But there's never a problem. And when you buy your license, you just automatically get doe tags.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know,
I know people that went Tuesday during the day or after work and had no problems. Of
hmm
course they didn't, because like I said, on Monday after my work, I didn't have a problem.
right.
Now the other thing was, you and I were just talking about was there was a couple units that sold out already.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like how the heck did that happen?
Right.
You know? And
I
then they
don't
said
know.
the unit I'm in, like 50% of it went already. You know, um, so I am usually on a yearly basis able to get two for the unit I live in, and then that usually sells out after second round, and then I'll get a different unit for a third tag.
hmm
So I don't know. After after everybody buys up everything, and then non-residents get their crack at it, and it might go all in one round.
Yeah, it's possible.
You know,
I mean, I guess in PA you have a lot of hunters. So there's like what, 1 million hunters.
nah, yeah,
So
I don't know.
I guess they have to limit the amount of doe tags you get. Otherwise, if all the million of people get doe tagged, then you're gonna be short deer. So in Maryland, though, we have less hunters, but when we get a tag or when you buy your license, majority of counties you get unlimited doe tags.
Hmm.
So you can shoot 50 does if you want to. Um, the
What's
only
crazy though is we got people out there that don't want to even doe hunt, but they'll
hmm
buy a tag so that you can't get one.
yeah,
What
right,
kind of mentality is that?
right,
That's silly. Those are the people that make the name hunter bad.
yeah,
They put a black eye on the industry.
hmm
It's another hateful thing. They're the person that when you shoot your buck, they don't celebrate with you. They talk about you behind your back or what.
hmm
It's just silly.
yeah,
I don't.
it
I'm
is.
not into that, man. Shoot what you want, whatever makes you happy.
Yeah,
You know.
whatever gets the ticker pumping.
Yeah. I just get tired of that mentality.
hmm
But yeah, I guess we're allowed to be able to possess 6 tags this year, though, as for doe.
Wow, it's a
You can
lot.
have 6 tags, and then I believe if you use one or two, and you're allowed to replace them. But at one point in time, you're only allowed to, I think, possess 6 doe tags,
Hmm.
which I don't know anybody that really needs 6 does. But
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna get my regular license, and if I get, I only need one doe tag.
I'd like
So,
to get 2, possibly 3 doe tags. Um, I, as you know, like to give them away,
hmm
and I know of a particular family right now that could use a deer.
Right.
So one of those tags I will probably offer the deer to those folks.
Hmm.
The fella has, I think he has 5 adult kids, like teenagers and up, still at home, and I think he's single income home, and he just has a rough go. But yeah, I want to try to help him out this year.
Nice.
So yeah.
That's good. Well, let's change gears here
All
and
right.
talk about food plot seed.
Oh, okay.
I was getting some questions about there's a lot of people jumping on Domain. They're they're
Yeah,
they're
there's
blowing up
a ton
everywhere
of
I
people.
yeah, everywhere I go. I see, like, if I scroll through Facebook, it's Domain, 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 and I get tons of questions on YouTube, hey Dave, I'm planting this mix, or what mix do I plant?
Yeah, I've been getting
Um
a lot of those.
yep.
Oh, what do you recommend for a fall blend? What do you
Yeah,
like?
right, because
And
they do have
and
a
that's kind of biased question though, because I like what I like, and you might not like it.
yeah, they got it. I mean, they got a lot of mixes, they got more fall mixes than they do,
For sure.
spring and summer mixes, but they're all good. I guess there's some variations in them.
Small variations. Some of them are much alike.
Yeah,
Just one or two
yep,
uh, components that are different.
yeah, but that could be a big change, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, depending on where you're at.
Yeah. So let's break that down a little bit and talk about, I guess, if a food plotter is new to planting, I guess, food plots, or kind of just new to Domain in general. Like,
Hmm.
what are some of their, you'll give your opinions, I'll give some of mine.
Yeah,
Let's go talk about what are some of their best mixes that we like to plant,
yeah.
and what somebody should plant pending on the size of the plot, and say they have a lot of deer pressure, and the type of area that they're in, whether they're down south or more in a cold zone.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
How you want to go? Okay. Fall
I
blend.
want to go in.
Okay. Now, me, I could talk about this for a while. If you're very first time planter and you have sprayed off and killed everything, you have it disked or tilled or whatever you're doing to prep your ground, they have a mix that they call Overhaul out now.
Hmm.
And Overhaul is something that you can plant and plow under in a few months or something after it matures, and
Hmm.
it sets you up for a fall planting.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like a summer planting and then get you ready for fall. If someone's wants to go that route. um
I planted Overhaul. It would have been last summer. I planted it, and it worked really, really well.
mhm.
And right before the season, right before I planted fall plots, I actually mowed it first and then tilled it under and went ahead and planted my fall plot. But it's a
Gotcha.
good mix.
Hmm. Now they do have some spring and summer stuff
Hmm.
if we want to go that route. If someone just wants to put out like a clover mix, if they don't want to try these blends just yet, clover is kind of a no fail thing. Um, I shouldn't say it like that, but I mean, it's pretty foolproof. But they have some stuff that's shade tolerant, that they call Hot Chick, and
Mm.
it is 2 different clovers, and it has chicory mixed in. And to be honest, I found in my area for some reason that the chicory doesn't grow real good. Like, I don't think it has anything to do with their seed, but because I can plant hot chick in my area and the clover comes on nice and strong and the chicory comes up so far and they nail it right away and it
Hmm.
doesn't get a chance to grow.
Yeah,
So I guess I shouldn't say it doesn't grow well, but
it will
it doesn't
grow. It's just
it grows. It just doesn't last long, I guess
yeah.
is what I should say. They
Hmm.
go along and they pick out all my chicory. So
Yeah.
I end up putting a little extra chicory in my my stuff. And then if you start out a planting of hot chick, they tell you the next year to frost seed or to come back in with
Comeback
comeback
kid.
kid. Yeah. And that is a mixture of 4 clovers and an alfalfa.
Yeah,
So,
they really like doing that. They like starting out with hot chick and then
yes.
transitioning to comeback kid.
Yeah, they like to tell people to do that a lot.
Hmm.
Now, I guess their OG mix that they call OG mix is Big Sexy.
Hmm.
That is a turnip, radish, kale, and rape mix.
I have not
And
planted that one yet.
I have not either, only because the blends that I like to use pretty much have that stuff in it already,
Hmm.
plus some other things.
Right.
And that's what I was going to transition to was if you want to plant a fall blend, which I think this is a smart way to do it, is what I'm going to say next. You want to plant a fall blend that has all that type of green leafy stuff in it, but it'll have a perennial in it so that when they eat that all up, these annual things up this fall, that perennial will come up and green up in the spring.
Hmm.
And one of those good blends that they have for that type of thing would be like a Bross Brew or a or like Sugar Mama, something like that, that has clovers and chicory already in it, along with, like the radish, the turnips, the rapes and kales and things that are big green leafy and will have some bulbs and things
Hmm.
in it. So, if you hear them saying that you should be planting with a perennial and an annual mix, and that's one of the things that they would be talking about is those that I aforementioned.
I
You
mean,
would have,
you could take any one of their Brassica mixes and you could throw a tub of
yeah,
hot
you
chick
can
in it.
mix it. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
mix it together and do it yourself,
Yeah, you don't have to just buy the Sugar Mama,
Right.
which it does have the clover already in it, but you can, if you kind of want more clover, then you can just buy another tub and then throw that into any one of their Brassica mixes.
And that's what's also cool about Domain is they sell mixers or what they call pounders,
Hmm.
and you could buy a pound at a time
Yeah.
of what they have chicory as a pounder. They have the
Yep.
hybrid brassica
Yeah,
as a
turnips and
pounder. Um, what else do they have as a pounder? The, the is it the turnip?
pretty sure the
I know
turnips.
they have rape. I know they have rape. Um, but anyhow, yeah, you can buy them and you can add kale. I think they
Hmm.
have kale as a pounder also. Um, yeah, you can add them in and make sort of make it your own.
Hmm.
Uh, I know myself, and probably I'm probably talking for you too, but you need to talk here too. I'm taking up all the time, but I like to plant like Showstopper
Hmm.
and Bombshell. I mixed them together, and that was like the bomb. I mean, because Showstopper has your hybrid brassica, your rutabaga, turnip, and rape, and your bombshell has Ethiopian cabbage, collards, and hybrid brassica in it also, and turnip also.
Hmm.
So you get all that big green leafy stuff, you know, um, and they just love that crap.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't even worried. I purposely mixed it stout because I like the stem count.
Hmm.
Now, some people like those big Facebook moments where they take pictures of these softball or pumpkin size, bulbs or whatever, which are probably too mature for the deer to eat anyhow, but that's a whole nother story. Uh, I'm not like that. My deer like those big green leafy tops, and whatever bulbs are left later, they'll dig them out,
Hmm.
when it gets real daggone cold out. But I plant heavy for the stem count, and so I'll get this big green leafy lush looking thing, and knee deep, and they just love that stuff. You know.
Yeah, I'd rather have smaller bulbs and then also have some zero grains in there to
Yep.
take over when the brassicas are eaten up. The
Right.
zero grains will just continue to grow and pick up a lot of the browse pressure.
But if someone contacts me though, which I had a guy, he's a local guy, one of my buddies. He contacted me this week, and he said, I'm thinking about doing this fall plot, and I'm thinking of this one, and this one. Which one of them would you do?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to be honest. I am very partial to No BS.
It's a
Very
good one.
partial.
It's a good one.
I have shot so many does over No BS, and the buck that I shot last year was in my No BS plot.
Mm-hmm.
No BS contains oats, clover, rape, radish, and chicory. So it is going to be a perennial mixture with some annuals in it also. And I've even had good regrowth the next year.
Mm-hmm.
Uh
We got the
across,
cereal grains in there.
yeah, across the road, um, at the destination plots that I have over there, I do this buffer strip right along the woods, like where the deer come out of the woods. I have this buffer strip. I don't know, it's probably 10, 15 feet wide, and I called it the Green Mile.
Mm-hmm.
And I planted it all in No BS all along there. And what that does is, as the deer come out of the woods, and the deer always stop on that hard, when they're coming off that hard edge, and they're starting to walk into like a softer edge, and they stop and they look around, and then they work their way out, head down a lot, and they nibble around before they head out into the big field. And that just slows them down for me. It lets me get a good look at them, you know, decide whether or not it's go time or let them pass or whatever. But yeah, No BS has been great, and the regrowth over there this year from last year's Green Mile is crazy, because the grains in there, I must have mixed a little bit of wheat with it too, because there's some wheat stalks in there. But the regrowth on that, the clovers are fighting for the sunlight, and they're
Mm-hmm.
like a foot tall in them stalks of wheat.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's crazy, the regrowth I got over there. The regrowth in the No BS in the shaded buffer zone is higher than my destination plot that was planted purposely with clover.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my my clover over there in the destination plot's probably, I don't know, 7, 8 inches tall, and the clover in the No BS regrowth is like a foot tall. It's just nuts. But I love the No BS.
Yeah, that's a really good one. I have all my plots just in clover this year.
Yeah.
From Comeback Kid,
Hmm.
which I planted into my fall plot last year with Bombshell, and that all came
Gotcha.
back in clover this year. But this year I'm actually going to till that under, add all that green manure into the
Okay.
soil, and I'm going to plant. I'm going to plant some Hall Pass
Yeah.
into it, and a couple other things. But I really like Incognito,
Ooh.
which is their screening blend, which you just planted last week.
Yeah. My
Um,
video comes out as we're recording this now. It is live.
okay. Um, so Incognito is really good for screening things. It's an annual. Um, but like you said, I one of my favorites is Showstopper,
Mm,
because it's a hybrid, system where it's got the hybrid brassicas in there. I
yeah.
planted that twice at the old farm, and they loved it. I mean, there were so many deer, and it kept up with the browse pressure too,
Yeah.
especially with all the deer they had over there. Um, but I just wanted to do the clover this year, um, and and work that back in this fall, or spring, or summer, sorry, and get that worked in, and plant some, probably Showstopper and a little bit of Hall Pass or something,
Hmm.
and that'll be my fall plots this year. But if someone starts out, if you have a small plot, I would do No BS. If it's a small, small area, do No BS, or Showstopper. If you start getting into the larger plots, you can get away with, like Green Machine. You could do, Showstopper. Bombshells is a really good one. And obviously, if you just want to have your perennials, you cannot go wrong with Comeback Kid. There's so many people that plant Comeback Kid.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, yeah.
it's a really good mix. I have that, like I said, I have that in my fields now. I'm
Yeah.
going up here in the next couple days to the farm, and I'm actually going to go through and for their feed all the clover because they're hammering it. And then for my fall plot, they have some new products out, and that's Dirty Deeds. So we're
Yep.
both going to be testing this out this fall because you're
Yeah.
gonna, the areas that you till under for your fall plot, we're gonna be spraying Dirty Deeds,
Yep.
and
I
it's a
agree.
soil conditioner, humic based. It smells horrific, but I Mike, they swear by it, so we're gonna test it out,
Yeah, I forgot to
and
mention that, but yeah, I do
yeah,
have an area that is going to be in front of my tree stand over there in a destination plot that will be planted in an OBS, and I'm sure I'll sprinkle some other things in it from some ponders, but
hmm
it just
you're
is.
spraying this, right?
I am going to use that, and I'm going to be using liquid courage in that plot.
Nice,
I
gotcha.
saved it all for that plot because I want to
Okay,
see what it'll do.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. So we're gonna be both spraying it, so we'll have.
Now I will have more than I need for that one spot. So my little testing zone that I'm going to use is I'm going to spray the remaining portion of the liquid courage on one side of my clover because I have 3 zones. I have 2 clovers on each side and then a hot spot in the middle for no BS where my stand goes. And I'm going to
hmm
take one of those either left or right and I'm going to spray it, whichever one looks weaker. I'm going to spray the snot out of it with liquid courage and see what happens.
Gotcha. Well, this does 1 acre, so I'll be using a whole jug of that.
Hmm.
But I'm excited to test it and
Yeah.
see what happens.
Oh, well, I've seen other companies that have humics, and if you read up on humics, it is kind of a smart idea.
hmm
Um, it should help the soil out. So I'm kind of glad that they've explored into this liquid zone stuff that they're starting into, and
hmm
you know, domain domains, they're busting out and doing some cool stuff, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I like the owners, Mike, Tim. I like their mixes, and it's just like their mix, no BS. All their seeds are, it's no BS. You know what I mean? It's
Definitely.
just good seeds. They're in Tractor Supply. I mean, they're in a lot of thing.
Yeah.
I think I took a picture the other day when I was up at Tractor Supply. They have a
I
big
took
shove of it.
I took a picture at the Family Farm and Home,
hmm
and I tagged Domain and Family Farm and Home and on Instagram. And Family Farm and Home, they liked my post.
mm
I thought that was pretty cool. Someone
hmm
actually acknowledged that I tagged them.
hmm
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. So let's jump into third gear real quick
Hmm.
and just discuss trail cameras. Because I had a couple people ask me about trail camera locations. So like currently, I mean, I have some cameras on public land, but you have some cameras or going to be putting cameras out
Yeah.
on public land in the mountains.
Yes.
So, and then I have all my cameras out on private land on my
Hmm.
farm. So I'll discuss, kind of where I set mine on private, and then you can kind of describe your situation on how you place them up in the mountains.
Okay. Cool.
So, you go first.
All right.
When you putting them out, and where are you placing them, and what are you looking for?
Okay. I normally would have them out by now, but we are in I don't know what you call it, this weird weather pattern right now. First we had the drought. Now we have this monsoon crap going on where I can't catch a dry day.
hmm
And the reason I'm holding off is because um, I want to go out and use mock scrapes and things,
hmm
incorporate that with my trail camera placement. So I don't want to just go out there and start dumping deer urine and it just gets rained on and washed away. So
Right.
I've been kind of holding off for some normal weather, let's say. Um, and I mean, I use some gland lure, I use some deer urine and things, and there is some spots out there on the mountain that I want to set up for inventory and go that route. But like you were saying, like where do I set them? Um, Two places. First of all, I take over old scrapes.
Hmm.
Um, I will take that over. Like if I find a good hot scrape from last year, I will start regenerate that thing and get it worked back up again. Secondly, though, if I make a mock scrape from scratch, when I do it myself, the deer in my area, for some reason, like to use overhanging limbs from a spruce.
Mm.
Um, I've heard a lot of people say like beech limbs and oak limbs and things, but predominantly, if I find a scrape on the mountain, it's normally underneath a spruce or pine tree. You know, even antler rubs. Um, if they make a rub, normally it seems to be the same.
Hmm.
So what I will do is when I do some scouting, boots on the ground, when I find a good spot, I will look for a heavy traffic hit. I can't say that word. Traffic hitted.
Traffic it. I can't say it either.
Traffic hitted area, high traffic area. Let's just say that I will look for a high traffic area, a good trail, and I will look for a spruce or a pine right overhanging that trail, and I will make a mock scrape there and decide where to put my tree stand. Um, on the mountain, I hate to sound dumb, but I really don't pay attention a whole lot to the wind direction there because on the side hills like that, a lot of times it swirls so much, you know,
Hmm.
because I'm not necessarily north and south or east and west. It just where I'm at, it's around a river bend and it swirls so bad. I just take my chances a lot of time. I gotta be honest. I don't pay a whole lot of attention to it.
Hmm.
But those areas deep, I do not hunt them very often. Uh, Obviously, I try to pay attention then more the day I go in. You know, expected routes for a deer to show. If it's totally wrong, I've walked all the way back there an hour before and turned around and walked away
Hmm.
because I got back there and the wind was just totally stupid. You know, it was blowing, you know, downhill right to the deer where I expected them to come out of the thick underbrush.
Now you have
And I've actually left, turned
when you
around and left.
when you go back in there, do you have like a road system where
I
you're
do.
just walking through the woods?
I do. It was old, overgrown tram roads
Mm.
from back in I believe it was timbered last back in the 50s.
So
If
you're
I'm,
walking the roads in and then just kind of jumping
yeah,
off.
there's tram roads busting off main trails and things. And uh, basically, I can ride a bicycle in so far, and then usually I chain it to a tree and bust off and go down a different trail or something, you know.
Hmm.
Um,
But you're walking
because
in steep hills to get in there.
yeah, yeah, I can't bike. You know, I ride across the top of the ridge because it's a big point,
Hmm.
and I'll ride straight down the point to the narrowest section, and then it busts down all directions down to a bend in the river. So any which way you walk, you're going downhill. So that's not real pleasant to try to bike up. Not only that, but if you went down on a bicycle, it would be rough.
You're
Going
scared.
downhill. Yeah, I'd be scared. I would never make it to my tree stand probably.
Yeah. Well, I have all my cameras out except a few, which I'm gonna finish putting out this weekend. But I'm putting them out on intersecting trails.
Okay.
So there I have a lot of intersecting trails. So I'll have 2 to 3 trails, and then all of a sudden it just comes into one. So
Nice.
I'm putting my cameras in those locations, and I'm getting good pictures, bucks, does, falling. I'm getting everything.
Hmm.
I have a few that I just look down. the long ways of my food plots, so I can see, because a lot of times y'all get a picture up close, but then you'll see the distant, deer in the background. So
Okay.
I look long ways because my plots are more long.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'll set them up on their cell cams, and I have some videos, cameras set up on some recharge sites, um, that I have just for inventory, and
Yeah.
um, and then I have some for security reasons. I have them on entry, you know, entrance entrances,
Okay.
a couple on the borders and stuff. But anytime anywhere I go, the best place is those intersecting trails, because the chances of having, deer come down, say, a finger of trails is higher than just having a camera set up on one single trail.
One trail. Yeah. Yeah.
So you'll get more pictures that way, and I think you have a higher chance of seeing,
Mm-hmm.
more deer.
Right.
Then I have a ridge system in the back, ridge top, that I did a lot of cuttings on last year, and it thickened up so much. I'm going to put one cell camera back there that has a built-in solar panel, and I just want to put that on the back side of that bedding area, because there's a trail that wraps around the backside.
Mm-hmm.
When I was there a few weeks ago, that bedding area is destroyed with browse
Hmm.
pressure. They're tearing it up. So I want to have a camera back in there, and then so that's a good place to put cameras.
Now, do you ever put a camera out blindly? Like, and here's what I mean. I normally have my cameras out already because, like I said, I love me some bears, and I
Hmm.
usually put my cameras out earlier to try to catch the bears in their rut and see if there's any in the area. And what I mean by blindly is there's this one hillside that it seems like the bears frequent,
Hmm.
and I don't even have a trail there necessarily for deer or anything that I'm trying to zone in on. I just put it up on the hillside, and anything that walks down on that hillside, I'll catch.
Hmm.
Well, that's how I shot that bear 2 years ago. Was I was getting a bear on that hillside from a blind placement.
Hmm.
I just put the camera out, and I was catching this bear coming through that hillside, and that's where I went and hunted.
Yeah, me and
Shot that bear.
when TJ went up with me like 3 weeks ago,
Hmm.
we put a camera out in this creek bottom.
Okay.
When it really wasn't like a heavily used trail, but it
Hmm.
was a trail coming off this hillside and then across this creek and then went up into the property. And I put a cell cam there. I got bears, I got bucks, does, fawns, raccoon. I got like everything you can think
Huh.
of. And it really wasn't. I didn't think it would be like a high traffic area.
Right.
Um, and it's really not. But I'm getting a wide variety of animals.
See, and I would have to agree because that camera I'm talking about that I set on that hillside, I got bobcat,
Yeah.
bear. I
Hmm.
got some. I had some hog bucks on there,
Hmm.
all kind of fawns and
Yeah.
does.
I have high hopes for that spot I'm talking about. I'm gonna actually putting a stand there this weekend, and
Mhm.
I think it'll really increase as the season and as we get into the fall.
Yeah.
Because it gets really thick back that way, and that's the way they're coming. And then when
Mhm.
they cross this creek, they come up more into my property, which then leads out to where all the food is, to the ag fields and where my food plots are.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
I think, hoping that that's a pretty good used trail come fall.
Yeah.
And I can put a stand off to the side, which blows my wind into the neighbor's property, which kind of goes into this wide open area where the gas wells are,
All right.
because there's a road that goes back in that the gas company has to check the uh, gas
Pump
on.
pump site. Yeah.
Right. So I can blow my scent kind of off into there, and then should be good.
Mhm.
So
Cool. Cool.
um, yeah. So that's episode 27, guys. Thanks
Yeah.
for listening, and I'm pumped up for this weekend. Got some stuff on the farm to do, and Chris is
Mhm.
going to try to get his cameras out, and should be fun.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yep. That's 27, guys.
Any questions? Let us know.
Thanks for coming along. Make some comments. Subscribe
Later.
to our channels. Listen along. See ya.
Later.